Hey everyone, happy Tuesday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So Tuesday, Mr. Rafa was back. He took off yesterday, which was Labor Day, and hopefully most of you guys were able to take it off too. I of course was here working, but that's another story. So Rafa, not surprisingly, got back to work on the barn door and worked on the front brakes here, among other things. So all the modification that we had to do and spacing and stuff to put these brakes on, one of the challenges is that the bus axle sticks out further than the stock 356 one. And so there is a article in Hot V Dubs where they show how to do this conversion, written, I don't know, like 2017 or something. What they did was they took two of the grease caps for each side and like sliced and diced them and welded them together to make them extended so that they would clear the axle, which again is sticking out further than it would on a normal 356. And so what Rafa actually figured out was that he could pretty much just make the ends of the axle caps kind of like a dome instead of flat. So he took essentially like a piece of tubing and kind of set it on it, and then took a tool and hit it on the inside and made it sort of convex like this. And he was able to do that enough to where it fits and it clears the end of the axle. So very cool, very clever on his part making that. Now it looks very factory looking, looks much better than trying to cut a couple of them up and weld them together to make it extended. This looks like it came this way, honestly. I don't think anybody would even notice anything odd about it. So yeah, very cool little project there. And then of course he painted them and stuff like that. Boom, that's it. The other thing that he did was he went and adjusted all four brakes. Hadn't been done previously, and he started bleeding them and ran into some leaks, and I think at least one of the front wheel cylinders was leaking, and the little copper crush gaskets that go on the banjo fittings. These use banjo fittings on some of the brake lines here. And anyway, the crush rings just weren't really the right size, even though they're what came with the new wheel cylinders. They didn't really fit all that great. And Rafa said he had kind of a bad idea when he put it together. Well, sure enough, they leaked. And so he put in some new washers that were made out of like fiber material, just something that we had in stock, just some kind of generic fiber material washer. So he put those in. That took care of the front. He got those leaks cured. But then on the back, on this side, that wheel cylinder also was leaking. And he started looking at it and kind of examining what was going on. It was leaking from the bleeder valve. And he pulled that out and looked at it, and believe it or not, the threads on the wheel cylinder where the bleeder valve goes in were like very crappy and kind of screwed up. And you know, we didn't do it. We basically just put these on here, and you know, he went to bleed them, and yeah, the threads were just very screwed up. I don't know if they'll take that back because we've already installed it and, you know, started trying to bleed it, but one way or the other, we got to get a replacement because there's no way to get around that leaking one there with the female thread where the bleeder screw goes in. So they're not like terribly expensive in the grand scheme of things. So, but again, hopefully we don't like paying for parts twice, especially if it's a defect from the factory. Essentially, it seems to be the case. So, but yeah, so it's kind of a bummer though. We were all ready to bleed the brakes on this thing and hopefully check that box off, but no, it's always something. Anyway, so that was kind of Rafa's day on this car. He did spend like an hour and a half or so on the 74 Beetle. So I'll go outside and show the progress on that pretty soon. So as of yesterday, our paint and body guy is like tore into that thing, and he's starting again. I'll show that towards the end of the video. Let me show what I worked on here first, and then we'll go outside and we'll look at the 74 Beetle, which I lovingly call the tennis ball because of the color and stuff. It pretty much looks like a giant tennis ball. Anyway, so yeah, continuing to go through all the pieces for the motor here. and got everything like that close to going together. I'm still waiting on a straight cut cam gear set, and I have bought it already, and so I'm waiting on an email from AA Pistons that I can come pick it up. Once I get that, then I can go ahead and assemble the crank and test fit everything one more time here with the crank, with the cam, all that stuff, make sure everything's operating smoothly. And then finally at that point, everything comes apart again, do like a final cleaning, flush out all the oil passages and stuff on here. Today I did pull out the plugs, so I had brother's machine go ahead and drill and tap all the plugs, so we have access to all these oil galleys. So yeah, once I'm done with mock-up, then the thing will come all the way apart, and we'll flush it out one way, both ways, all the ways, make sure there's no metal or anything hiding in the oil galleys from machining or crud from how many years this was a running motor prior to this stage of its life. So yes, clean, spotless, everything will be surgically clean, and then it'll go together for real. So I'm hoping that if all my ducks line up, including being able to get that cam gear set maybe in the morning, that I will be able to have the short block for this thing together by the end of tomorrow. So today, again, just trying to get as much done as I can while I'm waiting on that, because we are on a bit of a timeline here. I went ahead and gapped the rings on 3 of the 4 piston and barrel sets. So Clydeberg does have the 4th piston and cylinder over there because he needs them to open up the heads. But in the meantime, I went and sized the rings for the other 3, so they're all sized now, and they need a little bit of work. They were a little bit on the tight side, so opened those up and got them within spec here. 4 thousandths per inch of bore pretty much is the rule of thumb that I like to use on these. So yeah, these 3 are ready, except the barrels need to be painted, but I'll do that when I get the 4th one and get its rings, size its rings and stuff. Then I'll paint all 4. But that's not preventing me from putting the short block together, obviously, but it's just one more thing that I'm trying to get done and get queued up, so that when I am ready to build the long block, then stuff like this is ready and waiting. I did a little bit of work on the bearings today, just a little detail that I like to do. I don't think most people do this. But usually on these motors, if you look at where, let's see, here's a good example. If you look at where the hole is that the oil is fed to the bearing, and you compare that to where the groove is in the bearing, they don't always line up that great. And I've seen a lot worse than this, but basically what I do is I measure the location of this oil feed here for this bearing, and then I mark it on the bearing, and then pretty much if it's off from this groove here, which is what it's supposed to feed into, then I'll go and I'll make like a little modification to the bearing here, where you can see I've opened this channel up so that it's going to fully open up over this little oil feed here. So when this is all assembled, this little cutout will line up right over that. So I mean, it's not a big deal, but it was covering maybe like a third or so of the oil hole, and it may not really restrict the oil flow that much, but it's just one of those little details that drives me crazy. I like these kind of things to be perfect, and any little opportunity we can to get a little bit better performance, or a little bit better oil pressure, I'll take it, because it doesn't really take that long to do this. So this is something that I do on every motor I build as needed. The other one that needed it was the number 3 bearing, so that's the one that goes up here. And that one, let's see, where did I do that one? Oh, here it is. So hard to see, but you can see how this opening of this hole is kind of stretched this way a little bit. So again, just stretching it out so that it is lining up nicely with this groove here where the oil comes in from. So that's it. This one wasn't quite as bad as the number 1 bearing on that case, but it was enough that I wanted to go ahead and stretch the opening of that hole a little bit, just to get a little bit better alignment with that oil groove there. So again, details. We love them on the inside of motors as much as we do on the outside of motors. So yeah, took care of that. What else? Yeah, just, again, cleaning parts. I got his distributor drive and stuff like that, cleaned it up and got it ready to install. Same thing with his base for the fuel pump. So again, while I'm kind of waiting on parts, I'm just trying to get like everything else possible ready to install when I have whatever parts I'm waiting on. Other thing that I did was I went and put his distributor together the rest of the way. I got the parts from VW NOS. Those came today, actually, I think. So yeah, I just was waiting for a couple little parts for the inside of this thing. So went ahead and put it together, set the points on it, all that good stuff. So yeah, this is ready for when it's needed. Okay, so I think that is it for this motor. Let me step outside real quick and we'll take a look at the tennis ball. All right, so here we are. So yeah, my paint and body guy that I'm using actually came yesterday and worked a full day. So it was pretty much just him and I here yesterday. And yeah, he just like tore into this thing. So started stripping paint and hammering out little dents, a little skim coat of filler where needed, and then taking that down to pretty much minimum thickness, just to take care of some little dents that he did metal work on before adding the skim coat. So yeah, he's moving along pretty fast on it. This fender I think is on a dolly right now. He's working on it. Some hammer and dolly work, no pun intended. Yeah, so moving right along here. So this car has been in a bit of a wreck at some point. So the front apron has been replaced, and the body on the sides here of the spare tire well, pretty hammered up. So we got some metal and body work to do on those. The other thing was that the little channel that runs around the body where the hood goes, that holds the hood seal, was pretty rusted out in enough areas that we're just going to replace the whole thing. So got that on order from Wolfsburg West, so that'll go on here probably pretty soon, actually. Overall, the gaps on the hood aren't too bad. Could use a little bit of work. You can kind of see here where he's got it marked. This needs a little help over here, but yeah, overall it's a pretty straight car, and the gaps are pretty good overall. Not perfect, but not too bad. So we'll get them dialed in even better. And yeah, so that is the update on this one. Officially kicked off its paint and bodywork journey yesterday. So moving right along. All right, let me go back inside. All right, guys. Well, I believe that is it for today. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for your subscriptions and your likes and all that good stuff. So with that, I will let you go, and we will see you again tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.